Welcome class back to chapter 5. This video lecture will cover custom fonts. And so we're going to look how we can bring in different types of fonts into our websites to make them more aesthetically pleasing. We want to keep these design principles in mind. Ensure that your web page content still stays legible. Do not use too many different types of fonts. Limit your variety to the max of 3. Pair a serif font with a sans serif font. So sans means without, so serif would have that little stroke at the end, for example, Times New Roman, where sans would mean without that little hook at the end or that stroke. An example of that is Verdana or even Arial. So you see before you, this is what we would call a sans serif font because it doesn't have that little hook at the end of each character. So we're going to explore Google Fonts, and so we're going to come to fonts.google.com, and we're going to bring in 2 separate fonts into our fitness website. Okay, and this happens to be one of them. Okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. So once we select this, we're going to go ahead and click on Get Font. Okay, and then from there we can click on Get Embed Code, or we could say Download All. Right now we can see that there is one selected family. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit the back button. I'm going to come all the way back to the home page here, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on the next one, which is Roboto. That one's a little easier for me to say. Okay, we'll select that as well, and then we'll click on Get Font. And now we have 2 in our family here. So this one right now I have 2 of them, so now I can click on that Get Embed Code, and I can see the code that I need here. So I can click on Copy Code. So this one has both of them in there. Okay, so this one is getting a little bit more into the detail of how you would bring it into the actual CSS. This is bringing the font into the web page, and then this is using it in the actual CSS file. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Copy Code, and I'm going to bring it into my index page. So here in the book they show us how to add this in. I am going to bring it after the viewport. I always like to keep, and I think I mentioned this before, I always like to keep the style sheet as the last one right before the opening body tag, because if I'm using a particular font here in these, and I tab these in to make them nicely line up. If I'm using the font Roboto Slab, I want to make sure that that is brought in before I use it here or reference it in my style sheet. So now we have the link to it. We've got all the pre-connect that we need through Google, and then here is what specifies that family. So here is the first one, and then here is the second one. So now we can go ahead and bring that code into our style sheet. So we're going to do that, and this is on page 245, and this is in the nav li. So we're going to take the Verdana Arial Sans Serif, okay, and we're going to bring that in. Now let's go ahead and come back here, and we can see that that's the other one. Let's see here it is. We can just copy this instead of having to type it ourselves. So I'll bring this in right here. My mouse doesn't always work best here on this computer. Okay, and so that is that one for the nav li, and then the Roboto Slab is used in the main section. So coming back here, again, I can just go ahead and grab this. I could grab the whole line too if I wanted to. And then we'll find main, which would be after nav. And this one we actually have to add in font family. So it probably would have been best if I grabbed the whole style. Okay, and there we have. Okay, so those are the 2 Google fonts that we're using here. And then we have index. I'm going to go ahead and now view this over here in my simulator, and you can see that the font changed there. If we scroll down in the page, this was also the main section font that was adjusted as well. So we want to make sure that we add this information to all of our web pages, because this is just the index page. So after viewport, in about, And I'm just going to paste over top this line here if I can get it to select. Nope, doesn't look like it. And then we'll save that one and contact, save, template. Okay, so now if I come back to my simulator and I click on each one of these, okay, and I go to contact, it still stays the same. So we don't have these pages yet developed, so those wouldn't be able to be worked with there. So again, that's how we would use Google Fonts. Okay, and you can go ahead and again research websites that bring in those great font combinations for us as well. So questions on this section, you let me know. Thank you.